Realize it or not, every American citizen has some idea of what is making them an American. Oftentimes, it will be something vague and nondescript, like simply living in America, or maybe just paying taxes. However, the much more interesting question is, what is expected of an American? This sort of question is one of the many that must be asked when considering what exactly is the American creed. In other words, what is considered the defining element of the American identity?
I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the constant of the governed, a democracy and a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, support its constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and defend it against all enemies.
Yet, of course, due to the nature of man, most people have a different idea of what the American creed is. This, of course, poses the question, how do diverse Americans interact with this creed? And what is their idea of what the American creed is? And, like all times, people have differing opinions. We must cover how these ideas clash or create tensions in the societal cohesion. Two of the largest issues facing American society today is the lack of unity and the belief that groups are lacking rights or have rights reduced or removed. Naturally, the easiest American creed to discuss is your own, so therefore I will begin with speaking about mine. While some may say that being a white male makes you not diverse, and while it is true that I may not be the minority, my ideas of an American creed still provide insight to at least one way of thinking, and, as well, providing contrast to the other differing ideas. At any rate, my idea of the American creed is the ideal that anyone of any nationality or any belief may be able to do as they please, so long as they do not 1. Impede the actings of other individuals, or the state, or break any laws. Naturally, this is not always the case. There will always be those who fall victim to racism or bigotry, just as there will always be those who act on beliefs which harm others or break the law. Thus, I perceive the American creed as a sort of net which holds together many different cultures and ideologies under a common idea that freedom of expression and action is the heart of America. Now, for other creeds, I will use the documentary The American Creed.
My parents are immigrants. They moved all across a war-torn China during the Sino-Japanese War and Second World War, and from Taiwan in the 50s came to the United States. They both pursued higher education here, and so I grew up in Poughkeepsie, New York, in the Hudson Valley. So it was this real American dream.
Eric Liu, as you just heard, is a second-generation American. His parents moved all over China before leaving the war-torn country for a life in the United States.
It's especially heightened when you are second generation, and you really can visualize what it would have been like had you been born in the other place. I had the good fortune to be born American. I can express my political opinions, and I'm not going to get just scooped up by cops in the middle of the night. And that has really fueled my sense of purpose. The entirety of my life after college has been in public work, either working in government or working to promote political engagement. I want for us as citizens to be as prepared and powerful and engaged and literate and ready to participate and contribute as we possibly can.
He believes, through being an American, that he is given the ability to have his own personal views without any threat to his own safety. This fuels his own perception of an American creed. In America, you shouldn't be discriminated against for your ideas. And this means that everyone should be educated to speak their ideas and take part in their communities as meaningful citizens. Already we see the differences in place. My creed was mostly focused on giving you the freedom to do what you desire, holding no regulation to what one does other than it be morally sound, whereas Mr. Liu believes that due to the nature of America, as a free country, one should be expected to voice their own opinions and take part in communities for the overall betterment of the country as a whole. This also brings up the civic issues that I had previously stated. Many people believe what they say will be held against them, and they fear to state their opinion, despite it being their right as an American citizen. For example, many people who voted for Donald Trump in the last election did not vocally admit to voting for him out of fear that they would be publicly ostracized. This is, of course, seen in many other places as well, such as with sexual assault. Though in many of those cases, the prospect of speaking out is becoming more available with movements such as #MeToo. This fear also shows the lack of unity in America, for if there were true unity, people would not be worried to state what they truly believed in. This is true for both a lack of complete and partial unity, because with complete unity, there would be no other opinions, and with partial unity, there would be an understanding that while different, all opinions hold some value in how the country works. With even just two ideas, it is easy to see how, while abiding the same basic concept, each individual perspective can vary greatly from one another. Another person from the documentary with his own ideas is Junot Diaz.
The public library as a concept, this is as American as jazz, man. As a nation, we need institutions, public institutions that reinforce our civic society. And when all said and done, if we will be remembered for anything as a nation, hopefully we will be remembered for that.
Mr. Diaz lived in a highly diverse area when he was growing up. There was a high level of poverty. This helped him form the idea that people should be able to do as they please, and how such an idea should be bolstered by free institutions such as libraries. He believes in the American creed not as just an opportunity to do as one pleases, but also as the means. And he believes that that should reach as many people as possible, no matter culture or income. Again, differences show themselves through his stance. His idea is probably more similar to mine than Mr. Liu's, yet they still both follow the same idea, that basic freedoms is important to Americans. He was able to experience firsthand a diverse community, of which many people were likely not able to do as they truly desired. Even still, there were more opportunities in America than his land of birth. Due to his upbringing, it has clearly influenced how he perceived the American creed, sort of as a net and a ladder to help you from falling too far, as well as providing means for anyone to climb to a higher level. Many people who believe there is a lack of political unity or general unity will cite that if adults only had the same morals as children, we wouldn't need to worry about any differing opinions. I believe that these people are simply incorrect. They are overlooking one important thing. Children do not have political opinions, nor do they care about race most of the time. And I believe that the solution to unifying America is not through some form of ignorance or naivety. Also, I don't know where these people grew up, but if you look around very hard at all, not even hard, you should be able to see some instance of childhood bigotry or segregation. However, some of the most different views of American creeds appear from people who have lived here for generations.
There is very little internet access. The internet providers won't go and set up internet in your house, even if you can afford it, which is rare. People have to walk around to certain places in town where they get cell phone coverage. And you can imagine the effect that has on their ability to seek work. Living in San Francisco, we talk a lot about equal opportunity. And then you go to a place like Dumas, which is really beyond the reach of a lot of that technological development and a lot of those advances. And you see that opportunity is not equally distributed in any way.
The people of Dumas are incredibly poor, so poor that it creates a downward spiral of poverty. It is clear to see that these people are not getting the equality so promised by the American ideal. They never had the idea that being an American gave them the opportunity to do as they please, as that had been a stark contrast from the reality they lived in since day one. These people don't have the idea that all the past people have had about America. To them, it isn't a land of opportunity. This likely makes them have distant, faded ideas of what it means to be an American. Overall, a common thread in most American creeds is that you should be able to do as you please. And after that, what is expected of you to do with those liberties is what defines most American creeds. Two main problems facing America today is a lack of unity and a lack or removal of rights. These will likely, due to the nature of democracy and large numbers of people, sadly remain true forever. Yet, through all its splendors, America is still the top in many aspects. People still come to America seeking a better life, more opportunities, more freedoms, so it must be still working in some aspects. We may have our differences, and we may not all agree on what it means to be an American, but we are all united as Americans. And God bless America.